You always have your big goals you write on your board, and mine obviously say Heisman and national champions.
We've got Arizona State's QB1 here with us, Sam Leavitt at Big 12 Media Day. Sam, a lot of preseason hype around Arizona State. Just the other day, you were named the preseason offensive player of the year. Just your initial reaction to all the preseason hype that you and the Sun Devils are getting, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to have that put into perspective, and to go out on the national media and say that. But at the end of the day, that was last year and predictions from last season till now. So got to go out there and get it every single day.
What's different about this offseason for you, preparation wise, like on the field, compared to 365 days ago?
Yeah, I mean, last year was really just getting into the offense and really learning how to command an offense last year and win some big games and play a full game and take care of the ball. So now it's really just finding plays that we like to get to versus certain looks, whether it's in the game plan or not. If it's not within the play, I know what we want to get to. Handling protections more, overall just commanding the entire offense more, and second year in the system makes it a little bit easier.
I know you're a big team guy. Obviously, a big part of the team this year is going to be Jordan Tyson, you, that connection. How has your guys' relationship on the field and off the field kind of grown since you first arrived on campus?
Yeah, I mean, on the field, it's just getting comfortable with the kid, and he's so incredible. That kind of came immediately, and we've continued to harp and grow on that. And every single time after a rep or 7-on-7, 1-on-1 team session, I'm coming up to him, telling him what I'm seeing and looking at, and he's telling me the same thing. So he's a super cerebral player, which is someone who I can play with, who feels that space really well. And then off the field, incredible person, the way that he's handled himself and gone about just as a person in general, treating people, the way that he's really stepped up in his spirituality has been one big thing. And, he's constantly challenging me as a person. So, nothing but respect to him.
I know it's hard right when that last season ends to put it all into perspective, but now that some time has passed, what's the biggest lesson you took away from your guys' shocking season last year?
The biggest lesson, I don't know. There's a whole bunch. I'd really say just in terms of football, anything can happen. Any team, we were ranked 16 last year. Anybody can pop off, and any game can go any direction. And it's a conference, the Big 12. That's probably the conference where it happens the most. So just understanding that you always got to keep your head down and keep the main thing the main thing. Not look past in the next week or the next drive. It's really every single day, every single play, every single rep.
How nice is it to have Marcus Arroyo back and a lot of familiar faces in Tempe for another season? Obviously, Kenny still at the helm. Like, does it just make things a little bit more comfortable for you going into another year of this system?
Yeah, it makes it comfortable for sure. But then that's the challenge. Do you want to be too comfortable? You already have your leaders, and you've already proven a certain extent with them. So it's now like, how can we step it up and challenge each other every single day? Because you got to come at somebody's throat, and really challenge them every single day, whether they proved it or not. I'm challenging Zay more than I'm challenging a new freshman
Yeah.
who's coming in, and Zay's supposed to be a guy who's really proven. So I think you have to have that as a team and as a leadership on the, just to bring everybody along with you.
What's your personal goal for this season?
You always have your big goals you write on your board, and mine obviously say Heisman and national champion. So that's the big goals. But then it's every single day. None of that's gonna happen unless you focus on the daily things. So I'm really just trying to grow camaraderie with the team. We got new receivers, so getting with them. And then just overall figuring out how we're gonna be as a team this year with a challenge on with our target on our back instead of being the underdogs.
Has anybody stood out to you as far as your new guys on the team, new targets that you might have?
Yeah, really everybody. I mean, we brought in J Moss, Turbo, Kamari, a bunch of guys who are stepping up. Malik McLean, he didn't play too much last year, but he's been stepping up a whole bunch. So it's really everybody. AJ's coming in as a young tight end who's made some really good plays. So everybody's just kind of leveling up the bar. I've been really proud of everybody.
Love it. Arizona State's QB1, Sam Leavitt. Sam, we appreciate you taking the time today, man.
Thank you, guys.